The Galactic Council had existed for over 40,000 years. It was a gathering of the oldest and most powerful civilizations in the known universe. Representatives from 1,200 species sat in the Great Hall on the station called Nexus Prime. They believed themselves to be the masters of peace. They thought their words could solve any problem. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Ambassador Helena Vance stood alone in the center of the massive chamber. She was a tall woman with silver hair and cold blue eyes. Behind her floated a small holographic display showing Earth and its colonies. Around her, thousands of alien delegates watched with expressions ranging from boredom to open contempt. Humanity had only been part of the galactic community for 60 years. They were considered children playing at civilization. The Grand Arbiter, a being called from the ancient species, raised one of his 4 arms for silence. His gray skin shimmered under the artificial lights. His voice echoed through the chamber like thunder rolling across mountains. The matter before us today concerns the Dominion's claim to the Epsilon system, announced. They argue that their expansion rights supersede human settlement. Humans have occupied 3 planets in this system for 42 years. The demand complete withdrawal within 1 standard cycle. Helena stepped forward. Her boots clicked against the crystalline floor. The demand is unacceptable. Epsilon is home to 14 million human beings. These are not temporary outposts. These are cities, families, generations born under those stars. A deep rumbling laughter came from the delegation section. Their leader, a massive creature covered in black scales with burning orange eyes, rose from his seat. His name was, and he commanded the largest military fleet in 3 sectors. "The humans speak of families," said mockingly. "How touching. They speak of ancient law. We claimed that region of space 800 years before your species learned to leave your single planet. Your presence there is an insult to our heritage." The chamber filled with murmuring. Many species nodded in agreement. The laws of territorial claim were clear. Older civilizations had priority. It did not matter that they had never actually settled the system. It did not matter that humans had built thriving worlds there. The law was the law. Helena remained calm. She had expected this. Earth's government had prepared her for the worst possible outcome. "We request that the Council consider the reality of the situation rather than ancient claims to empty space." Shook his enormous head slowly. "Ambassador Vance, the laws of this council have maintained peace for. We cannot simply ignore them because one young species finds them inconvenient. The claim is legitimate under our codes." "Then what does the council propose?" Helena asked quietly. "Peaceful relocation," another delegate spoke up. This was ambassador of the collective, a species that resembled floating spheres of blue light. "The council will provide transport vessels. Humans will be given adequate time to relocate to approved territories. They will compensate humanity with mining rights in the Outer Veil region." Helena almost laughed. The Outer Veil was a dead zone. Nothing but asteroids and radiation. The Council was offering humanity garbage in exchange for 3 living worlds. "And if we refuse?" Helena asked. Silence fell across the chamber like a heavy blanket. No species had ever refused a council ruling. The very idea seemed absurd to most of the delegates present. The leader's orange eyes burned brighter with anticipation. Leaned forward on his podium. "Ambassador, refusal is not an option. The Council's decisions are binding. To refuse would place humanity outside the protection of galactic law. You would stand alone against any who wish to take what you have." Helena nodded slowly. She reached into her pocket and removed a small device. She pressed a button and her holographic display changed. Earth disappeared. In its place appeared a detailed map of human territory. But something was different. Something was wrong. The delegates began to notice markings they had never seen before. "What is this?" asked, his blue light flickering with confusion. "This," Helena said calmly, is the truth about humanity that we have kept hidden for 60 years. The chamber erupted in chaos as data streams began flowing across every screen. Military installations that had never been detected, fleet positions that all known estimates, weapons systems that the galaxy had never imagined. You see, Helena continued, her voice cutting through the noise, when humanity first encountered the galactic community, we were warned. Your own histories told us everything we needed to know. The strong survive. The weak are absorbed or destroyed. So we smiled and nodded and played the role of the naive newcomers. Stood again, his scales bristling with rage. This is a bluff. Humans cannot possibly have hidden such resources from our intelligence networks. Helena turned to face him directly. Can we not? Your species has been spacefaring for 12,000 years. In that time, you have conquered 47 worlds through military force. You have killed billions. And yet, in 60 years, you never once thought to truly study us. You assumed we were weak because we chose peace. You were catastrophically wrong. She pressed another button on her device. The holographic display showed something new. It was a ship unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Sleek and dark, it was built for one purpose only: destruction. This is the UES Prometheus, Helena announced. The first of the Titan-class dreadnoughts. There are 12 more currently in service. Each one carries enough firepower to crack a planet's crust. Each one is crewed by humans who have trained their entire lives for the possibility of this moment. Rose from his seat, his ancient face showing something that looked almost like fear. Ambassador Vance, threats of violence are forbidden in this chamber. The Council will not be intimidated. Helena shook her head. I am not threatening anyone, Grand Arbiter. I am simply explaining why Earth declines your generous offer. Humanity will not abandon Epsilon. Humanity will not bow to laws written by species who view us as insects to be moved at their convenience. She turned slowly, addressing the entire chamber. For 60 years, we have watched how this galaxy operates. We have seen how the strong prey upon the weak. We have seen how diplomacy is just another weapon used by the powerful to take from those who cannot fight back. We chose to prepare. The leader stepped down from his platform, his massive form casting shadows across the floor. Then humanity has chosen war. The Dominion will crush your pathetic fleet and burn your worlds to ash. Helena smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. The Dominion has approximately 4,000 combat vessels spread across your territory. Humanity has been tracking every single one for the past 30 years. Before you could organize a strike against Earth, 17 of your core worlds would cease to exist. She let that statement hang in the air for a long moment. We do not want war, Helena said finally. We never wanted war, but we refuse to be victims. We refuse to be pushed aside because our civilization is younger than yours. They can keep their empty claims. Humanity will keep its worlds. And if anyone in this galaxy attempts to take them by force, they will discover just how terrible a mistake they have made. The chamber remained silent. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council had no response. Their laws meant nothing against a species willing to fight. Their diplomatic traditions were useless against a civilization that had prepared for the worst while hoping for the best. Stared at Helena with something new in his burning eyes. It was not quite fear. It was recognition. He was looking at a predator he had foolishly mistaken for prey. "They will consider this matter further," he said slowly, then retreated to his delegation. Helena gathered her materials and prepared to leave. As she walked toward the exit, called out to her. Ambassador Vance, you have changed something today. The Council does not know how to proceed with a species that rejects our authority so completely. Helena paused at the door. Then perhaps it is time for the Council to change. Humanity did not survive ice ages, plagues, world wars, and our own nuclear weapons by being weak. We survived by being adaptable, by being relentless, by being willing to do whatever was necessary to protect our own. She looked back at the vast chamber filled with representatives of ancient civilizations. The galaxy chose diplomacy when dealing with Earth. You tried to use words and laws to take what was ours, but we learned long ago that true peace only exists when those who want it are strong enough to enforce it. Earth responded to your diplomacy with the only language the universe truly respects: power. She left the chamber. Behind her, the Galactic Council descended into urgent, whispered conversations. Everything they thought they knew about humanity had been revealed as carefully constructed illusion. The young species from the insignificant blue planet had been playing a game none of them understood. 3 months later, the Dominion officially their claim to Epsilon. The Galactic Council passed a new resolution recognizing human territorial rights in perpetuity. And across the stars, a new understanding spread among the ancient civilizations. Humanity was not prey. Humanity was not a child species to be manipulated and controlled. Humanity was something far more dangerous. They were survivors who had clawed their way up from nothing, who had stared into the abyss of extinction countless times and refused to fall. They were beings who would rather burn the galaxy down than kneel to those who thought themselves their masters. The old powers of the universe had spent believing that their age and experience made them superior. They had forgotten a simple truth that humanity never would. Survival was not about how long your species had existed. It was about how fiercely you were willing to fight for your future. Earth had shown the galaxy its true face that day, and the galaxy would never make the mistake of underestimating them again. The message had been delivered with perfect clarity. Humanity came in peace, but they were never, ever unprepared for war. In the decades that followed, human ambassadors walked a little taller in the halls of Nexus Prime. Other species, the younger ones who had also suffered under the Council's ancient laws, began looking to Earth for guidance. A new alliance started to form, not based on conquest or domination, but on the simple principle that every civilization deserved the right to exist on its own terms. Ambassador Helena Vance retired as a hero of Earth. History would remember her as the woman who stood alone against the most powerful body in the galaxy and refused to blink. But she always said the victory belonged to everyone who had worked in secret for 60 years, building the strength that made her words mean something. The galaxy had tried to use diplomacy as a weapon against humanity. Earth had responded by revealing that true diplomacy only worked between equals, and humanity had made itself equal through the only method that truly mattered: fearsome, undeniable, absolute power.